Okay, we had to come out of that news. We're getting in some breaking news about an IAF AN-32 with 29 people on board that has gone missing. So this is an AN-32 of the Indian Air Force. 29 people were supposed to be there on board. The aircraft took off from Port Blair for Chennai. This takeoff took place at 9 a.m. this morning. It's a weekly flight, in fact, for the Armed Forces personnel. And what we're getting to here is that the Antonov AN-32 has gone missing now after it took off. We have Jugal Purohit now to get us the very latest. Jugal, just give us more information that you have right now.
Well, Avantika, what we've been able to find out is that this was an Antonov 32 aircraft, as you just spoke. It's a medium lift aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Also, it's extensively used across the country. Now, this had taken off from Chennai this morning, and it was supposed to land in Port Blair. What I know is that the Indian Coast Guard, which is the authority which looks at search and rescue at sea, is the one which is actually in charge of tracking any such disappearances if they take place. Their data says that 8:46 a.m. is when the plane last lost contact with the ATC, which was in Chennai, which was controlling the aircraft's movements. And at about 9 o'clock is when it was seen for the last time on the radar, after which there has been no trace of it. Teams which are supposed to carry out search and rescue are already out on the job at sea. We're not sure about the exact number of passengers or the exact purpose of this flight at this point. We are awaiting the Indian Air Force, which owns this aircraft, to tell us more about it. Even at this point, there is no clarity. But this is what we know, that at 9 o'clock, the plane went missing. Ever since then, there's a MRCC of the Indian Coast Guard, which is a Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in Chennai and in Port Blair. They are the ones who have all the data and all the tools and all the assets to send at sea and sort of locate and look for. The aircraft also, Avantika, let me tell you, when it crashes at sea, assuming it has in this case, also has several inbuilt mechanisms. Whereby the aircraft will start providing to the radars its locations. That's how a lot of crashes at sea are finally solved, and they are recovered also. So what we do know is that a search is on for now. We're awaiting the Air Force to tell us what was the mission and who were the passengers, and we're awaiting from the Indian Coast Guard to hear whether or not they've been able to find something out on the plane that has gone, that was last seen on radar screens at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Jugal, just stay with us. And I do understand that information is still trickling in. And as you mentioned, a search operation is still going on. It's been launched in full swing by the Indian Air Force, the Navy and the Coast Guard. We also have with us Gaurav Sawant, who is getting us some more information. Gaurav, have you been able to gather more updates about this breaking news that we've just received about the Indian Air Force AN-32 flight that has, gone missing?
Avantika, a massive mission is presently underway in these waters. Now, this aircraft, it's the warhorse of the Indian Air Force, a medium lift transport aircraft specially built for the Indian Air Force for operations, whether it's the Siachen Glacier or Eastern Ladakh or even Andaman and Nicobar. This is specially built for the Indian Air Force. It's a warhorse. It's a transport aircraft. It took off from Port Blair for Chennai, went missing around between 8:30 and 9, has an endurance of 4 hours plus. After that, they're hoping it may have landed at some airstrip or some rough patch. If it's on water, the Coast Guard and the Navy will be able to give us some more news. So fingers crossed at this point of time.
Yes.
A massive manhunt, a massive hunt for this aircraft, not just by the Navy and the Coast Guard, but also by the Indian Air Force. There are other aircraft in the sky at this point of time trying to locate this aircraft. Did it veer away from its course? Was it on course? What happened? We still do not know.
Gaurav, tell me something, that isn't
the Indian Air Force has more details, we still will not know about the passenger manifest either.
Isn't this aircraft built in such a way? It's an improvised version of the AN-26. It's supposed to, withstand any adverse weather. And therefore, that's one of the, biggest characteristics of this particular Antonov AN-32.
It's a very, very sturdy aircraft. The fact that it's been in the service of the Indian Air Force since the mid-1980s, late 1980s till date, goes on to show it's a very proven aircraft. It served the Indian Air Force extremely well, but it's at it's towards the fag end of its career in the current form. The C-130 Hercules are the aircraft that have replaced this, but not in the numbers that you have the AN-32s. It's a very, very reliable aircraft by and large. That is what Indian Air Force personnel tell us. What went wrong, if at all, with this aircraft, we still do not know. But this is an aircraft which has the